All right, we got video and ready. Three, two, one. And we're live with Pat Dixon to talk about probably one of the most discussed conspiracy theory topics in all of history. And so, what made you want to pick this week, Pat?
Well, I have a question about your intro there. Is that what the millennials are saying now? Like instead of saying the full word, you just say disgust instead of saying
Discussed.
disgusting.
Yeah,
It's like when you say something is sus.
yeah, it could be an
No,
I
abbreviation.
I
assume
don't.
that's what
I
you mean.
Is this one of those things where older people just refer to all young people as millennials? Because I don't think millennials are like 38 now. So, but
Well, how old are
no,
you? You're that age, right?
I'm 30, yeah. But what's it called? No, that's like a kid's that like sus. I think that's like a fucking Zoomer thing.
It's an old-fashioned English thing.
Oh, well,
If
we
you
got a
remember,
difference of opinion here.
yeah, the Ruts did a song called "Sus."
So,
Okay.
meaning short for suspicious, I'm guessing. Well,
Yeah,
this
well,
let's just say what it is. It's a black thing. I don't.
Always,
I don't.
I always trust the English person
the
on
Eng-
things like this.
well, we've covered this before. The similarities between English culture and Black culture, but
That's
"sus"
true.
"sus" is totally English.
Okay.
It means
All
like
right.
suspicious, dodgy, and it was also in the context of the Ruts song. It was you before the Police and Criminal Evidence Act of 1986. The police could just arrest you on suspicion. So they say we've got him on sus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, this is like Mr. Wikipedia here.
yeah.
Yeah, for useless English trivia, by the way.
Love it.
Yeah. But did I say something? Did I just misspeak in the intro? Perhaps is that what you were trying to alert
well,
me
you did a
to?
bit because it was actually I who suggested the topic
Oh,
because
okay.
Pat was talking about it on TBD and he came up with some stuff I'd never heard of. So I said,
Oh, I'm surprised. That's interesting. Had I was talking
yeah,
about Dorothy Kilgowan. Dorothy Kilgowan, I think is what I
yes,
was talking about. Yeah, the columnist who turned up dead because she
Oh,
knew too
right.
much about it. Yeah, and she was about to start talking about it, I guess. And yeah, it was an interesting thing that I saw. Of course, look, I believe everything I see on YouTube,
yeah.
so I think that there's some truth to it.
Well,
But
it's
who
carefully
the hell knows?
curated, so it must be reliable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
I love
Um,
disinformation. I love misinformation. I
yeah.
use it all the time.
yeah, the thing for me about so sorry for mischaracterizing you as being a big JFK head, by the way, Pat. I
Not
didn't
that. Not
realize that
not
it
def.
was.
I'm not that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. My bad. I little communication breakdown on this end, but that's all good. Regardless though, I always like the thing to me is and this is like the thing about the JFK assassination is it's like this real lore like event in American history where every boomer has a story about where they were, when it happened or whatever. And and then also part of the myth of like it's like almost kind of signaled like the end of an era, kind of like when America lost its innocence. I hear people fucking saying that type of shit in PBS documentaries all the time. um and the thing that I think about when it comes to the conspiracy theories and stuff is it's like, sure, maybe you could go all day about multiple shooters, magic bullet theory and stuff, but none of that shit ever really gets to why that Kennedy got assassinated, which to me
Mm.
is always the most interesting thing. um
Okay,
and
I'm
what
back. You guys, if you guys are ready, I'm back. Sorry, man. I heard all that. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my thing where it's like, the thing is like, I don't know. So what would your guys' take on why you think the assassination happened?
Well, I think it's the same reason they assassinated Trump, except that I'm no longer convinced that Trump was the real deal. Apologies, Pat. But
Wow.
the way he's shilling vaccines now, it just seems like maybe the whole thing was just like they realized there was this discontent, and they got their guy to kind of be a lightning rod for it and diffuse it. It's because they've used him just to defame the poor whites of America, haven't they, and the world.
He has served to do that, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think they've the same with Boris Johnson. He's clearly not the real deal, but he came to power on like a wave of similar kind of discontent. Yeah, and he's just proving to be the worst thing imaginable. So I mean,
Boris Johnson, I don't think is the. I think he just caved a little bit more completely and a little more quickly. Yeah, and I don't think that. And I think that Trump realizes that the vaccination thing is going to happen. So he goes, well, all right, might as well get it done as quickly as possible, you know. And people seem to want it, and you know the vaccine is probably going to do not that much damage, and you know, fine, vaccinate everybody. You know,
Pfizer did also give him a lot of money too, by the way, in his campaign. Not for nothing, but
he didn't take any donations from people.
Well, I mean, on opensecrets.org, I can look up right now. It says that he donated mostly to Biden, by the way. I'm not trying to fucking shit on, this isn't fucking shit on Trump hour.
Oh, wait, this is 2020 you're talking about.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that one, but yeah, you probably did then. I know in 2016 it was pretty much his deal, and small donations from, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just a thing that started to cross my mind lately. That's all.
It's a sidebar, you know. The Trump thing. We're talking about Kennedy.
Yeah,
and Kennedy got killed because he had made enemies out of all of the basically American Nazis, you know, that were.
That's a funny way of saying Jews.
Not Jews though.
Maybe I can change your mind about that by the end of the episode.
Oh no, I'm not defending Jews. Okay.
Yeah.
But not that I wouldn't. But I'm talking about the oil guys and you know, who live.
Yeah, the arms dealer. I mean, like it became such like a cultural meme that I think I noticed it in Wayne's World when it came out, that it was like Garth rattling on about the military industrial complex was really the first I'd heard of that sort of warning from Eisenhower, which is at the beginning of Oliver Stone's film about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's hilarious. That's where you got that's how you first got wind of that. One of the most important statements of the 20th century.
But I think it's all, if you look at how deeply involved in Hollywood, like the military industrial complex is, you know, they're putting it like they propagated the use of the word conspiracy to sort of degrade anything that went against an official narrative. Putting a laughable character like Garth in Wayne's World going, it's a military industrial complex. It's a military industrial complex is a good way of making it appear absurd.
All right. Now I see what you mean. Yeah, sure. They do. There's never like a guy who saves the day or something who is, you know, they turn out to be crazies. You know, okay, well, it's definitely, yeah, I think it's a good theory. I don't know why. It's funny that we're still talking about theories about why it happened and stuff. And the fact that we are kind of proves that there is something there, you know. And people will explain it like, well, people just don't like to accept the simple truth. They want to believe there's something else there. And that's not it. It's not our need to understand, you know, because like we don't do that with other stuff.
Yeah,
you know, I think it's you know, clearly there's a lot of you know, the Zapruder film itself is like you know, doctored and stuff. It's like they've taken frames out to show that the car didn't stop. You know, the car did stop, and that's when the guy like peeks out of the little storm drain or whatever, and just pops him in the head from the front. His head goes up like that.
Yeah,
there's no way that gunshot from behind is going to make his head go back like that. And the shot enters blows his head apart, and they had 8 gunmen in total, I think, who fired like 16 shots.
Well,
that's true.
That Zaruda film was an 8mm home movie, wasn't it? Shot from the grassy knoll. Yeah.
Interesting though, the Abraham Zapruder, Jewish businessman from the area. He actually was a member of the Citizens Council of Dallas, which is the organization that invited Kennedy to Dallas that day. And also he made millions off of selling the footage of it to Time Life Films. But it's funny you well, in America and now money.
half a million, I think, at the time. I think,
but now it's millions.
Yeah, and they wanted to obtain that in order to fix it.
Yeah,
right.
They put it in their storeroom, and it never saw the light of day till it got subpoenaed, didn't it? I believe.
But it still got. They were able to fix it in the meantime.
Yeah.
What's it called though? It's funny, William, you mentioned the JFK movie, the Oliver Stone movie.
Yes.
The guy who is it's not really surprising to me it brings up military. Here's the thing with that movie is like the kind of what's the word? The nice neat bow they kind of put on it at the end is that Donald Sutherland character who's like
Mr.
he's like
X.
Yeah, Mr. X. He's like what's it called? It says like all societies are built for war. Yeah. This is, and it kind of, neatly ties it up like, oh, Kennedy was in the way of, he was maybe going to turn around the way the country was headed in the Vietnam War, when it's like, we are like fourth or fifth episode was the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Like that's while Kennedy was, in office. Like we already know there's no really indication in reality that he was going to get out of Vietnam anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know. Are you sure about that? That he was not going to end the Vietnam War?
Well, I mean, he kind of went along with the whole literal false flag attack on America in order to, drum up public support for the involvement.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe he didn't expect it to go on forever. I mean, maybe he didn't really realize what he had was, by all accounts, he was sort of weak on certain things. He was not really up to the task of meeting with Khrushchev, for instance. I mean, he's kind of he was not necessarily fully prepared or cut out for that. I mean, like he was a second choice of the dad.
I mean, honestly, I think in the sort of Trump era, it's pretty, or post-Trump era, if you want to call it that. We'll see.
No.
I was going to say we'll see, but it almost seems silly to ask why, because he was kind of taking shots at the establishment, taking shots at the CIA, and that whole Bay of Pigs things was basically in defiance of the CIA, wasn't it?
He wanted to destroy the CIA. He had that.
So what they operate on is they put the president in a situation where he either has to be able to be accused of backing down and being weak, or just back them up and go along with it. And he called their bluff that one time, and look what happened to him. I think that's basically it, isn't it? You got who was it who went on? Somebody went on Rachel Maddow after Trump had got elected and said, "Oh, he shouldn't be talking bad about the CIA."
Oh, it was Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, that asshole.
Intelligence community. Yeah, he said, they've got 8 ways from Sunday to get back at you. It was a warning.
Yeah.
Or he's even knows he would never fucking pull that kind of shit.
Yeah.
He knows they're the ones who fucking make shit happen for the fucking executive branch. You make or break kind of deal.
I mean,
deeply involved with the intelligence community. Schumer is,
and that asshole was grandstanding at the Waco tribunal as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Schumer was.
Yeah.
he was.
Oh, disgusting.
I just don't see how a flashbang non-lethal grenade could inflict such a thing. Not that he knows anything about fucking weapons, of course.
And, and then the what do you call it? When Kavanaugh was about to be, sworn in, he was there at the Supreme Court, yelling about that shit.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that when he was there? When he was, we will rain down all kinds of, it was pretty nuts. Grandstanding.
He's a real cunt. I mean, I don't know much about American politics, but I know. I mean, I can see how he's related to a certain comedian because they both really boil my piss.
Yeah, he's like Seinfeld's second cousin or something.
Yeah. What's the deal with these Branch Davidians?
Who are these people?
Oh, fuck. Shit. Yeah, no. Okay, but I've been kind of dancing around it, but I mean, like my whole thing is so one of the main popular theories for why JFK or who killed JFK. You got the mob. You got the CIA. You got fucking Lee Harvey Oswald just by himself. That's the cover story. You got the right wingers, the guy that the JFK movie was kind of really pointing to. Detective
Derek Chauvin.
Yeah. Oh fuck. No, for that guy that was played by Ed Asner in the fucking movie, though, whatever the fuck, I can't remember his name. But the point is, there's the seminal 1991 JFK assassination book, The Final Judgment, by Michael Collins Piper. He describes basically all of those popular theories for who killed JFK fit neatly into a nice box, a black cube shaped box, that in which all of those groups all have connections to Israeli Mossad. And this time period when he was killed was was during a time where JFK was, personally putting the kibosh on the Israeli development of nuclear weapons. And within a week, all of the American foreign policies related to Israel basically went 180 after when Johnson took office, essentially.
Yeah, well, when you say Mossad and you say CIA, you're saying the same thing. Really,
that's what I was going to say. They're basically the same group of people. Let's face it. It's all intelligence, international intelligence people. Or we on our show we call it the Rhodesians.
Yeah.
And also so it's also worth mentioning Robert F. Kennedy, who was the secretary of, he was the attorney general at the time. Within 72 hours of the assassination, he said he demanded that the American Zionist Council had to register with the FBI as a foreign agent within the U.S. Then they had a 72-hour deadline for that. But instead,
the FBI had to register as a foreign agency.
No. The AZC, the American Zionist Council.
All right.
And instead of doing that, they actually disbanded and reformed later as what we now know as AIPAC.
Right.
By the way. Once Johnson took office, basically, what's it called? Like all of the stymieing that the American Department of State was doing to stop the Israelis from openly developing nuclear weapons had reversed. And basically like it became, journalist Steve, what the fuck is this guy's name? I want to say Steve Green. He basically said that you might as well have considered fucking Tel Aviv the 51st state capital of America at that point, because it extended all protections of like national defense to them as well as all of our protectorates.
Is RFK Jr. Robert Kennedy's son?
Yes.
Right, I get it. And he's now persona non grata as well.
He
Not
is.
allowed. Not allowed on YouTube.
Yeah, for the same reason why we had an episode. We're not going to say what that reason is because we don't want to get pulled. Another one pulled, but the same reason we had an episode pulled.
Right. So, what's the official story then of why it happened?
Yeah, we should go through that. Well, I guess the official story is that Lee Harvey Oswald is a disaffected former U.S. Marine / communist who hated Kennedy. I don't know. That's supposedly what the official story is. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, but I suppose it makes sense on like a newscaster level, doesn't it? Of, the same, Derek Chauvin hated black guys.
/ he hated this one specific black guy and set out to murder him that morning. Okay.
It's like it's just an easy story to tell, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah. It's like John Wilkes Booth,
Yeah.
Ever thus the tyrants, sure.
Yeah.
It's like David and Goliath, right? David.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lee Harvey Oswald story makes any sense. I mean, because he wasn't shot from that angle. So I guess that people just kind of like they had the magic bullet theory. The Warren Commission was a joke, that came up with that. And I don't care about how many. There was a ballistics, some father and son team that were expert on ballistics or something, talking about how no, absolutely, anybody who. Now, as far as explaining that theory, they go, there was another gunshot, there was another wound. Well, that one's completely unexplained. But the magic bullet theory, and it's like that's not really going to work for me. It's in terms of explaining the overall deal. I mean, like when Kennedy gets hit in the back. Right.
Yeah.
The shot or through the throat, rather. He gets shot through the throat, and that I think that might be the one that supposedly hit the governor, which it's Governor Connolly. A lot of people don't really know the name of the guy that got killed or got shot that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny to me, that he gets such short shrift. I mean, like his assassination would normally be pretty big news, I'm sure.
Well, it's
but alongside JFK, not at all.
It's like Mother Teresa.
I think I'm sorry to interrupt, Denzel, but I think that I just realized that might be another plausible theory, is that the whole thing was to assassinate Governor Connolly, and JFK just got caught in the crossfire.
Could be, yeah.
I like that theory.
Collateral damage.
I mean, JFK was there and kind of to make a show of Democrat Party unity between, because apparently in the local news recently, there'd been like a public dust up between the governor there and the senator who has represented Texas. And JFK kind of came to get them a big photo op with all three of them in the room together to kind of smooth over the public perception that there was like trouble in the Democratic Party. So that is actually legitimately possible in a way.
The problem is with that theory, though, and especially as it relates to you, Scott, is that how do you blame the Jews then?
Yeah,
good question.
Another theory is it could have been that the limo driver had been fucking somebody's wife.
Yes.
Oh, well, right. Yeah.
The limo driver, though, didn't get hit, and he actually is the one who was bribed to stop the car, long enough so that the guy could get the shot off.
This could actually justify the magic bullet theory. Then perhaps he was a practitioner of Santeria, and the magic bullet had to do all that stuff to avoid hitting him because he was under a spell of protection.
A legit magic bullet.
Yeah. It had been
maybe.
Yeah, it had been rubbed in chicken guts or something beforehand.
That'll do it.
Or maybe
something magic.
He could have been under a spell that kept him safe, and that made the bullet go haywire.
Could be.
There's so many, all these competing theories,
Yeah. Well, it makes as much sense as the official.
Lee Harvey, the cover story, yeah.
The cover story. He's a patsy. He was selected as a patsy, and that's the whole deal with him. And that's why he had to be killed right away, because he came out going, "I'm a patsy."
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he. So Ruby, simply.
You mean Jacob Rubenstein? That's That's his real name.
Killed Lee Harvey Oswald Berg.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had offended all these interests. You know, the contract on the oil in Cuba had been cut down from like so many acres or whatever. You know, Castro came in and fucked all that up. They were losing all that money on the casinos down there. The mob was.
Yeah.
And you know, the CIA, the whole deal with the CIA is like they come from skull and bones, and they're like, you know, it's been like a group of business interests from the beginning and never had anything to do with security.
It related to oil too, the Bush family.
Yeah, and HW was in on. I think he kind of like was sort of like the guy who planned the whole deal.
He's the dude. I mean, he was there, and I don't know. This is a piece of trivia, but he was in Dallas that day, and at about 10 minutes after the shooting occurred, he called FBI headquarters for Texas and said, "Hi, this is George Herbert Walker Bush. I'm calling to let you know I have a tip. I know the identity of the man who shot Kennedy." And this was before it was on television. This is before it went over the radio. There's actually an audio recording of it. I believe you can listen to it on YouTube. And then later, when asked,
read my lips.
Yeah,
I know the identity.
And then also in the 90s, he was interviewed, and you know, just as a fucking bog standard, you know, interview question, they said, "Hey, Mr. President, where were you when Kennedy got shot?" And he goes, I don't recall.
Are you shitting me?
I swear to fucking look it up right now.
Wow. He's the one guy who doesn't remember where he was.
Yeah, I know.
And he called in a tip.
Yeah. And he was in Dallas. Nothing stands out. I don't know. Where was I? I don't know. That's great.
This all seems perfectly in order, Mr. Bush. How are your children?
Yeah.
They're kind of stupid.
One of them's gay and getting into painting.
Please clap. That's my favorite thing ever.
Oh yeah, I got my hoodie. Let's not forget about that jam. You guys remember that Jeb Bush? I got my hoodie jam. Oh yeah, he was so slick and hip with the kids wearing his fucking Florida State hoodie.
Oh man, he's a real team player. That guy is. Yeah. Jeb Bush, no energy Jeb.
Yeah, a team on the WNBA, I think you mean.
One thing they can never take it away from Trump is that excellent movie, The Art of the Insult.
Yeah.
Yeah. AKA the 2016 campaign.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's like edited highlights of that, and it's
just like one by one, man. Just took them out, you know, just one by one, and so brilliant. So you don't think there's anything particularly brilliant about it at the moment? You're going like, oh, it's like calling everybody names, you know, what the fuck? And it just works and it's all kind of accurate, you know. Yeah. Crooked Hillary and low energy Jeb, and you know, talk about Rubio was a little Marky. Lion Ted.
Yeah.
Which after he won, he switched to Lion, like Lion, Lion. Lion Ted.
I love that pivot. That fucking. I swear to God, he's a whole new dude. They grew him, and this one can grow facial hair. They grew him in a lab.
Grown up
I like this one better. I'll be honest.
Me too. Yeah, I like this one too. He didn't do so good when he was trying to come back at Trump in kind, you know, or whatever. Remember when he had that video because he said something about Ted's wife, you know, which is pretty fucked up, I guess, but funny. And he's like, "How dare you talk about my wife like that? You know, it's like it didn't come off well at all. He seemed like a complete loser. Yeah, and everybody was adjusting to Trump the whole time. But I guess that's not what we're talking about. It's JFK.
I mean, they're kind of similar figures in a way. Like, I mean, the CIA did take, again, we already made this analogy, but the CIA did have a massive hand in taking the guy down.
Yeah.
They both said shit about the Federal Reserve System and had, you know, alerted a lot of people to that fucking whole scam. Both of them.
Well, I think it's the reason I keep bringing Trump up is that I think my sort of big picture thing that just started dawning on me when I was looking into it for this was that because I was wondering the whole time Trump was in office when they're going to assassinate him, and I was wondering, would they do it if he won the second time? But I think that at least for the first term, I think they've decided they're too sophisticated for that now, and that they don't actually need to assassinate somebody. They can take all their supporters down with him by doing it the way they did it to Trump. I think it's the Trump thing is in some ways exactly the same as the Kennedy thing. It's just a more refined version of it.
It's like a slow motion kind of thing. You're like, well, we can't just like shoot this guy. We're not due for another one of those yet.
Yeah.
So let's, and they used it. They actually used it to their advantage. To have like, well, why don't we just harness all this? Well, we have the maybe it's because they have the media more firmly kind of like consolidated under their thumb now, and they can use the media to just character assassinate and fuck up Trump and get sort of unite a lot of the people who are going to hate, who can be united in hatred towards him, and then they can use that to look, I don't think that people would have tolerated COVID so much if it wasn't for Trump, being like reasonable, and the same with all the riots and shit like that. If not for Trump, that atmosphere wouldn't have been, I don't think, quite as it wouldn't have been quite right for all that bullshit, and then they figured we'll just steal the election, and we got plenty of time to plan that, and get the state legislatures to change the rules, and no problem.
Yeah. And also I think the press, whereas back in the 60s the press were undoubtedly lackeys of the establishment.
Yeah, Operation Mockingbird, dude.
They're now literally employees.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they have all former fucking intelligence agency people, fucking heads, like as the fucking main talking head on a show.
Yeah, and you've got defense contractors holding shares in media businesses, and it's just like the whole thing's a fucking rigged game. It's not even a game anymore, is it? It's just it's turned from a rigged game into just a video of a game.
Yeah, it's hyper reality, dude. It's all John Boger.
Yeah, you're right. It's like trying to play the game when it's just on the demo mode, like before you put your quarter in.
Exactly.
The arcade.
Yeah.
Like, how come I can't control this ship?
Yeah. I think that's what. I think that's the difference, and I think that's why Trump's still alive.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They had to kill JFK because, or it was like, you couldn't net all of us, like basically they've made it now illegal to like have not standard views on like a number of things. Like I'm not even going to go into them for fear of getting kicked out of off of YouTube again.
You're talking about COVID niggers?
Yeah. I am specifically the ones that have.
This isn't live, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
No. But the thing is like they can control so much more of what we see as reality because it's all fucking on screens now, basically.
Yeah.
Like, and back then, like everyone kind of had a sense about themselves because they didn't spend all day with their fucking face in a screen, absorbing
no internet, right? Yeah,
fake shit all day. Or the fake or real, doesn't matter. It's more information. Yeah. Back then there was only 3 channels, you know what I mean?
I went on a protest about a certain issue on Saturday, right? And they one thing I noticed, among many other things, but one thing I noticed was that there were a lot of women in this protest, and they were not the organizers, but they were, come on, everybody stick together, everybody, they were the ones like calling the shots, if you like, as part of the crowd mentality, the mob mentality, right? And it was so the police cordoned us all off into different sections and wouldn't let us leave. And it basically waits until all the women need a piss. And when the women need to piss badly enough, then any kind of feistiness in the crowd just dies down, because the guys are just happy to stand around with their hands in their pockets telling jokes, and they can piss in the bin. But the women really need a piss, so they come to terms with the coppers. And that today, I was all day at the playground with my 6-year-old daughter, and various other parents came and went. Mostly female, big fat cows, and they would be playing soccer with their child and still be looking at the phone. So the reach of this screen thing, I think, is far more powerful on women than it is on men because they just can't stop looking at the fucking thing.
I got a question for Scott.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what the fuck he's talking about?
Well, I just figured, I was actually not bullshitting. I was scrolling the Wikipedia page of the assassination.
What I'm saying is that the women are so plugged into the screen.
No. I got you.
They are.
What's that have to do with piss?
That's on the women on the protest were like the agitators, and moving on to the women at the playground who can't even stop looking at their phone long enough to play with their child. The women are so plugged into the propaganda and whatever it is, the information that they're
You're right about that.
They're weaponized for this whole fucking COVID thing.
Yeah, and so exactly, they're keeping the men in line.
Yeah, because they got all the pussy, and they do. They're aware that. Then, in fact, you might recall that there have been like they've tried to harness that in a more like kind of official or a group way to truly. They said that if you're with somebody who supports Trump, don't fuck them. Do not fuck them. Break up with them, or at least if you don't break up with them, cut them off sexually, which is like. I mean, that's an insane. That request implies that like you don't need dick at all.
Yeah.
But he needs. I mean, of course they need dick as well. I mean, they might not need it the same way we need what they got, but they do need dick. And I don't think put your political.
That shouldn't be entering your fucking that lizard part of your brain.
No, exactly. Yeah, you should that leave the bedroom out of it. But they also are women are pretty gullible. They're new to the political.
They're agreeable,
arena.
I believe, is the psychological term.
Agreeable.
Yeah.
They hate confrontation. They really do. And if it's no skin off their nose, they're not much for like standing on principle. They figured like, oh, okay, I'll put on a mask if that's what and then they'll justify it even just by going like, it's the middle of a pandemic, and it's like, all right, that doesn't really scientifically explain anything.
Yeah.
So they'll settle for broad strokes arguments, and that's why when you're arguing with a woman, they don't really get how you are trying. Like you'll say some pretty specific things that kind of like ruins everything they're saying.
Yeah, they don't like specific stuff.
No, brass tacks things, how the situation actually works, the dynamics of it, the gears, the STEM part of it, I guess, right? They're not into that part. They wonder why you can't accept a broad strokes answer for shit. It's like, well, my mind doesn't work that way. It works in this other realm of like, cause and effect and, reality and shit. So they just, they are different that way. They're more convincible, and they're new to politics. Long term.
Yeah, and they don't have. It's not just the carrot of the vagina. They also have the stick of the. If you're in a relationship,
the stick of the no vagina.
Yeah, it's not just no vagina. They've got 8 ways from Sunday. To make your life fucking miserable, vagina or no vagina.
You didn't make the accent. You got to do the Jewish voice. You got to do the jerky voice.
So
great.
Anyone who's ever lived with a woman knows this. That they can, and I think when it spreads to guys, because guys will
Uncle Ted says all the time, over socialized. It's over socialization, and it's something is taught to you through fucking media and through another thing we were saying before, but carrot and stick, incentives in dealing with chicks. If you want to get pussy, you have to certain chicks, you have to act a certain way. And so I've seen like I've had so many people in my personal life like try to come at me with fucking COVID shit. I'm like, what are you, a fucking girl?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? What happened to you?
I actually said aloud because like where I live, you don't see many people wearing masks, and I'd say there's more now that they've put this psychological carrot out of saying we're going to open up in a few weeks or whenever they say it is. I don't know when it is because I don't believe them anyway. And so you do see a few more. And I saw a guy, like a proper blue collar guy, walking down the street past a factory, wearing one of those disposable blue masks. Yeah.
Wow. Walking past a factory.
Yeah, like as if he'd just come off shit. And I'm like,
fucking Bruce Springsteen, a tear just rolled down his eyes.
I said out loud in the car, I says, fucking hell, be a man.
Yeah.
I
hate to see it.
And I was driving down the street in North England, and I saw a big fat blue collar guy walk past the factory, and he was wearing a mask.
True, man. It's true. It's made us a bunch of fucking weirdos, you know, with the mask. It makes everybody. I understand businesses don't want to get fined and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's how they've enforced it. They're like, we can't actually, the law can't make you wear the mask, but the businesses can.
Yeah.
And so you see people who just think that's great, you know. Hey, whatever it takes, virus and all that kind of shit, you know. And yet those are the people who don't really pay any attention to who dies from it, or what infirmities all these people have, what age they are, the people who die from it, like a percentage of people who die at the age of any person who, what I'm saying, they could easily get around this without it being a whole mask thing. And then you go, what's the point of the mask? It's just obedience, and it's to give everybody a sense of anxiety and all that stuff. And it does so many things.
This episode is down in 3, 2, 1. Oh. No, I don't care.
No, fuck it.
That's what the right wing says. I don't.
It's.
I mean, by the facts, though. By the facts. Like I'm saying stuff that Dr. Birx has said.
Oh, yeah.
I know. A remarkably small number of people die who aren't in their 80s.
Yeah, I've been saying this on the show for months and months, and it's like in regards to, every time someone goes like, oh my God, well, what, does the virus just go away at 10 p.m. or does it come out at 10 p.m. because all these different rules and shit? And it's like the fucking TV show. I've said this like 6 times in the show. It's like the TV show Whose Line Is It Anyway? We make up the rules as we go, and the points don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And that's the point of it, though. That is the point of it.
To confuse you. It's science
to make
psyop, dude.
To break you down into obeying arbitrary shit and stop asking questions. Yeah.
I mean, my position on it is that because those videos that came out of China when it was still funny.
China.
They whatever this is that we've got is not that, is it? People aren't just suddenly falling down dead in the street like we were.
Yeah, they're not turning into the fucking Thing, and Kurt Russell's gonna save us.
But my position on all these rules, be it lockdowns, masks, vaccinations, whatever, even if it was that, even if it was fucking Ebola, the government has got no right to tell you you're not allowed to leave your house. It's got no fucking right to tell you to wear a mask. It can fuck off. If
True.
So, regardless of statistics and blah blah blah, I don't care if it is as bad as they pretended it was. I'm still not wearing a fucking mask. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's the thing is though.
Or I'll make my own mind up about it.
It's defensible on it's when you're suing somebody or whatever, you have to pick a fucking lane or whatever, and both of those, it's very true. Even if and when we had Ebola, remember that people in hazmat suits, we were looking at them going, holy shit, really? I mean, like, we're allowed that. We're not supposed to like be told to mask up and all that business. I mean, the emergency powers, man. It's like they all got together and said, we're just going to fucking go nuts. And with this, we have an unlimited mandate to do whatever we want. And, we'll just say it. That's what we'll do. It's kind of like how Joe Biden's using the executive order now, and how Obama used it. Yeah. I mean, you can use executive orders that way if you have the support of the bureaucracy, and he did. And Joe obviously does. Trump didn't, so everything got challenged in court, and everything had to, go through this. It had to jump through every legal hoop that they could possibly throw up. And now we're back to just, legislation by decree. And they're never letting go of these these emergency powers.
Patriot Act all over again, isn't it?
It's way worse, way worse, because it's in the direct control of all these friggin' governors and mayors and everybody, and like, at least the Patriot Act, it didn't give Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio the right to just go, no, here's the fucking law.
It was just the feds, yeah.
And now we've added this whole medical bureaucracy to the whole deal too. I mean, like, wonder, like, what does Fauci doesn't really have any kind of power? You know, he's just a guy.
No man that short has power.
Yeah. The thing about a mask, and all that kind of shit, and he's talking about like what we need to do and stuff. He's nobody. He's
the thing I like about being this short is if I want to suck a guy's cock, I could just.
And I do want to suck a guy's cock. Bad.
Are you suggesting that me sucking a guy's cock is theater?
It's not theater.
It's box office.
Fauci is the most despicable person, and you can always tell the most despicable people because those are the ones the media props up the most. Remember when people were, where's Dr. Fauci? Where's Dr. Fauci? Interrupting Trump to say, where's Dr. Fauci? Like a bunch of fucking, seals who want a fish thrown to them or something, and then like now he's got this children's book coming out. Simon & Schuster's putting it out. It's How a Boy in Brooklyn Became America's Doctor. And if you have to convince the indoctrination of the kids now is even it's even more obvious. He's saying now that like if you're a parent and you've been vaccinated, then you can stop wearing a mask. He says, I guess he's conceding that, but the kids need to have the mask on when they go to the fucking playground. So they're like, okay, maybe some of you guys we have to write off. And there might be a certain kind of parent who's like, well, I'll take my mask off. But, fuck my kids. They we want to make sure they don't get COVID and bring it home.
I just want to sit with no mask and be able to take selfies with that phone that I can't fucking stop looking at while I'm fucking kicking around a soccer ball.
But isn't it frightening that they've got you guys wearing masks, but that was the one, that was the Rubicon that our fascists didn't cross. They haven't made us make our children wear masks.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's different but similar in a lot of ways.
Well, you guys lose your jobs for like standing in the yard and shit. I mean, It's like it's weird. You done in the UK, like people are like, oh yeah, you made you made your dog learn a trick. So
that's crazy. I was just
weird,
We had.
Go ahead.
I had dinner tonight with a former guest on the show who's known as Bobby, who's a former English policeman, and we were just talking about that guy. It's basically teaching your dog to do a Nazi salute. It's any guy, if he thought he could do it, would try.
Oh yeah,
because
believe me, I have.
It's fucking hilarious. Right?
And if you could get him to do a Nazi salute while he's sucking his own dick, every guy would try.
And it's obviously just a prank to piss your girlfriend off, which anybody would do. Everybody thinks it's funny. And if he'd done it in 1930s Germany, he would have got fucking his head cut off for it because it would have been disrespectful to the Führer. So it's like, what the fuck?
I don't know. Hitler was really into animals. He might have really liked it.
He punished Dankula to let the animal live.
Yes.
You off with his head, and I want a puppy.
Yeah, you're right. He probably loved it. He was an animal lover. Hitler had a lot of good points that people tend to think are good now. Like a vegetarian.
They hated smoking.
I tell you what, Hitler was. Say what you like about Hitler. He was an exceptional individual. Because how many methamphetamine users don't smoke?
True. Good point. Yeah.
He also held down a pretty high level job.
Yeah. That's a will of iron, isn't it? To not smoke when you're on meth.
Say what you want about Hitler.
Yeah.
He did kill a lot of Jews.
Yeah. I used to like to say to people, say what you like about Hitler. Not everything he said was right.
Yeah, I mean, he's it's a funny thing about him that you talk about his self-control, with not smoking while he was on meth, but he also, Hitler never drank tequila. He avoided tequila.
Right.
The reason being it made him mean.
Yeah.
I mean, not for nothing, no one really ever describes Hitler as mean.
Yeah, I guess this seems to be a superfluous kind of a statement at some point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Kind of mean too, on top of everything else.
I believe Norm Macdonald described him as a real jerk.
Yeah. The more I find out about this guy, the more I don't like him.
Yeah.
Such a great bit.
Yeah. But Hitler's dog loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've many times asked my wife if we could get a dog named Blondie, but no, she didn't want to have to explain it.
They really do fucking have a lot of power, don't they?
Yeah.
When it comes even come down to the naming of a dog, they get to reject ideas and shit.
My
a kid.
My daughter rejected my idea for naming the cat and insisted on a terrible name for the cat. The cat, I'm burdened with a cat now. This daughter has now joined the military, and I'm lumbered with a cat that bears the name Luna, which is the gayest name for a cat, isn't it? I mean, a cat's gay enough as it is.
What was your suggestion?
I wanted to call it Chairman. For Chairman Meow.
Chairman Meow.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
that's great.
So under the count, what was it, Dankula thing with the, if his dog makes him a Nazi, my cat being called Chairman would make me a communist, wouldn't it? So
yeah,
I
put you right in line with the
Yeah, I could have got a job at the BBC.
Yeah. Chairman Meow never did anything wrong.
No, except maybe throw up on the carpet a couple times.
He keeps bringing rats in.
Yeah. Fuck. Do we want to talk about JFK anymore? I mean, that's
all right. Are we not though? Are we?
Well, we are.
Yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day, yeah, it's all the French fucking Revolution at the end of the day, isn't it?
Okay, here's what I saw. And this is what I believe. I think that I told you I believe everything I see on YouTube, but I don't. Yeah. I don't believe the Lee Harvey Oswald. I saw a debate. There was one guy saying that Lee Harvey Oswald did it or whatever, and I don't find him convincing. But there's something on BitChute actually called from
greatest story ever told.
From JFK from JFK to 9/11. Everything is a rich man's trick. And it's like this 3-hour video, and change. And I don't know if it's true or not, but it certainly. Seems like legit. He names all the shooters, where they were positioned, and he talks about and I haven't seen the whole thing because I keep falling asleep, but it's it all goes back to the intelligence community, the CIA being this bunch of motherfuckers who are they're defending business interests of the United States.
Yeah, it's a shadow. It's not even a shadow government. I think some sort of power interest that's served by the empire, which it's a theme on our show that the mineral oil, banking, property,
Rhodesians.
whatever interests, the interests of the super rich were served by the British Empire, and now they're served by the American Empire. And I think the CIA is like the kind of executive branch. They're the personalists. They're like doing the organization. These guys who are really in charge, who are really making global policy, like your Klaus Schwab's. I mean, he's probably not even it. He's just a functionary.
He's just a player.
He's a functionary.
Sort of a front man functionary, which it seems odd they would make that choice. Klaus Schwab, the fucking Bond villain type motherfucker,
the Doctor Strangelove dude.
Yeah, they should get somebody like Brad Pitt or whatever, to do it, and I'm sure he'd be happy to do it.
Well, they do. They get him to. They're getting the celebrities to shill these legal weed businesses now, aren't they? Which are all absolute
and trans
frauds.
kids. All of them have trans kids now.
Yeah.
Trans and black, if they can find them. That's a real. That's a what you would call a blue ribbon kid, I guess.
Well, I think
you got to buy them black, but you can turn them trans by letting your Hollywood friends have their way.
Really the trans surgery is a good investment, because if you get it done early enough, the child will commit suicide before it goes to college, and thereby it pays for itself in the end.
And just move on. Yeah.
get another
Nobody
one.
loves them. Nobody loves these kids anyway. They figure it's like when you adopt a dog, and a dog is going to be killed if you don't adopt it that day. Then like who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
And every day
Yeah.
after that is a gift. So these kids had. I mean, they were in some horrible place, like Mexico or
Yeah,
something.
Mia Farrow's, all those fucking kids that are like literally Mia Farrow posted a picture of her black daughter, and she forgot to crop out the part where she Googled Mia Farrow black daughter to find the picture of her. She posted that on Instagram.
That's great. I didn't know that. That's funny
Yeah.
as hell. She
But yeah.
Googled Mia Farrow black daughter because
Yep.
she didn't have any pictures of her own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's
Boomers,
beautiful.
step away from the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. What Pat, what's your take on the whole Woody Allen thing? You think he's guilty?
I don't think he did it. I don't think he shot JFK.
No, but I mean, like the whole Dylan Farrow, recent revelations.
I haven't seen the recent documentary about it, but my take on it was pretty solid before.
It's an interest for me to want to watch that.
And I also think it's too, like, anytime that something is put into that format, it's like I don't trust it. It's made that making a murderer, it made a lot of people think they knew everything about that Steve Avery case. They really don't. I talked to
he did it.
I talked to Kratz, and I talked to I always forget the other guy's name, but he was the lead investigator on the case, and the guy. What's funny is that retarded kid in the Steve Avery case. He and Steve Avery have about the same IQ, so I mean, it's not like there's not that big of a difference. So Woody Allen, when I went over the facts, it's like there just really wasn't any evidence to support it, and the kid was coached, and that was the determination that the Yale team came to, that was hired by the fucking prosecution and then wasn't used in the trial, because they came up with conclusions that they didn't like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were not useful to the prosecution, therefore they didn't use this Yale team who's dedicated to finding and helping, people who have been victims and stuff like that, and that's what they're looking for. And then I think the claim on the part of Mia Farrow's team was that, well, they were just starstruck by Woody Allen. So no, that doesn't right there. That's not going to put all of them, at odds with dealing with victims and helping victims and shit. So
Scott, question for you here: How does the persecution of an innocent man in the form of Woody Allen fit in with the sort of Zionist imperialism that you're always complaining about?
Oh, well, here's my take on Woody Allen. The real reason why I don't think Woody Allen fucked that daughter, he definitely fucked Soon Yi, and there's a lot of fucking weird, I just personally don't approve of that relationship. I know, like, you can make the argument he didn't really raise her and all that stuff, but still fucking weirds me out. However, in regards to this,
what would stop me doing it more than anything is that it's a connection to that crazy bitch you used to be married to. You want to be as far away from that as possible.
Yeah, you can find a dime a dozen fucking washed up, set 19-year-old fucking Asian immigrants.
Yeah, just buy a new one.
But here's why I balk at these accusations. Woody Allen was really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and he got hundreds of fucking flights on that fucking plane. If they wanted to bust him up for fucking kid touching, they could. Yeah. And they chose to make a big deal out of this. So,
no, man, that doesn't quite make sense though, because they're not. They don't want to get anybody that way, because that's going to make all of them vulnerable.
Right, but that's my point. Why would he fuck her when he has the fucking access to the fucking Jeffrey Epstein stash?
But you get
the heart wants what it wants.
Well, I'm always suspicious with these things, and there's been British ones which I won't go into that are similar, where an entertainer has been convicted of, illegal sexiness on the flimsiest of evidence that the crime ever even happened. In fact, evidence that boggles the mind that it's even allowed to be admissible to court.
Yeah, I think we talked about one specific one on the show before.
And what it makes me think is that these are people who have maybe been invited into the inner circle and deemed untrustworthy. That like they got into the party scene, but then didn't like what they saw when they got there, and said, "Oh, I just don't want anything else to do with this. This is wrong."
Yeah, they
And
give you
they
the
get
option, then
yeah. So
of like
to eat with the staff, like Trump.
If you break this kid's neck, then you're in the club. If you won't break the kid's neck, then you need to go, like you said, eat with the staff.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if I agree with Scott. Your characterization of Soon Yi. I mean, she speaks like a bunch of languages and shit. She's very educated. She's not some dumb immigrant. She's kind of a first-rate piece of ass.
And I guess
that sense,
the whole incentive to cut ties with Mia Farrow. I mean, he must really love her to marry her, because like all the incentives are to have nothing to do with her.
Oh, he wouldn't marry Mia, and he married Soon Yi, and I'm sure he hates her mother and his mother-in-law,
Yeah.
But, and ex.
Maybe he married her just to get good mother-in-law material.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is the worst.
I wish he'd go back to doing his storytelling stand-up act, because it was so fucking funny.
It was good. It was very good. Yeah, I mean, and it holds up. It holds up better than 9/10 of the shit that we've heard since. I mean, like I can't watch, Richard Pryor and laugh. But I can watch. No, it's not funny anymore.
I've said this on the show before that the Eddie Murphy specials stand up way better than the Richard Pryor ones at the time.
Holds up so well. Yeah,
perfect. It could come out tomorrow and it would kill you.
Funnier now than it was then, even because of the because of the AIDS comments and shit.
Yeah.
Come on with AIDS on her lips. But that was accepted by the AMA at the time. Basically, they were like, "We don't know if she could come home. Your girlfriend could come home with AIDS on her lips. We don't know." So it wasn't that far off the mark.
Way to bring it back to Dr. fucking Fauci.
Exactly. Yeah, he was in charge of that bullshit.
She could have AIDS on her lips. We don't know.
Yeah. I have AIDS on my lips right now.
If you kiss with the mask, the AIDS can't come through the mask. It's just common sense.
Yeah.
We advise you go to a glory hole to have sex instead to avoid the AIDS.
Did they say that in
I believe it was Canada, actually, but
was it?
Yeah.
Canada they suggested glory holes.
Yeah. The government suggested glory holes for gay men who needed anonymous gay sex.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I want to say whatever Vancouver, British Columbia, the government of British Columbia did.
For what reason?
Because you're not breathing on each other,
dude.
Because what?
So you're not
breathing?
Yeah, you're not breathing on each other. You've got the cubicle wall between you.
Oh my
Better than a mask. In fact,
oh my God!
If we're all going to be really safe, we should ditch the masks and wear a mask and carry a panel of fiber, chipboard, whatever you guys call it, the toilet wall.
So this would be good for heterosex too, right? Like with the wife, with the girlfriend, anybody, girl you're hooking up with. Like, I'm not gonna kiss you. I can't do that. You could suck my cock. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Through a hole with duct tape around it.
Some health advisor, some health minister or something said, if you're going to have orgies, wear a mask. Right now, I've never been to an orgy.
Unbelievable.
But I've seen films of them, and the ladies cannot wear masks.
No.
Yeah, how are you going to be able to eat the snacks that are there on the side of the room?
Yeah, it's like a prom. There's eating and stuff, and not exactly dancing, but
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah. Well, they wear masks in that.
Yeah, they do. You're right. Yeah, different kind of mask.
They're masked and everything. I thought about doing that with the whole mask mandate here, just like getting a ridiculous latex mask, that I can wear. And like, I'm wearing a mask, and it's gonna technically stop everything better than a little fabric if you've got like some mask on. I mean, you don't want to choose like Jesse Jackson mask or an Obama mask or something.
Well, I thought about that as well but I couldn't make my mind up what mask to get. I thought maybe Osama bin Laden would be a good one.
Yeah,
Muhammad at that rate.
No.
We should come up with a Dr. Fauci latex mask.
Yeah.
And then
Go suck each
obviously
other's dicks.
it would, yeah. You know what? Forget the masks.
I was gonna say he'd have to have like the blow up doll face anyway. So I mean,
yeah. Fuck, man. If you go to a place and they say they want you to have a mask on, you can't just go like, all right, I'm just gonna shop like this, right?
Yeah.
And they're no. It has to be this fucking, you have to look like a slave.
Yeah.
Yeah, here a couple people I've noticed that they only use the phrase "Do you need a mask?"
Right.
And they always offer you, and it's just like I did watch. I was in the gas station a week or so ago, and this Asian wigger, I don't know, I guess chigger you'd call it, was very, very friendly to me, by the way, because I at least give the obligatory "No, I'm not a slave" version of the fucking wearing the mask inside the store. But very friendly, and he kept asking, "Do you need a mask, man? Dude, you need a mask?" to this guy in front of me. And the guy was clearly a fucking junkie and was not, didn't really give a shit, but he ended up relenting and putting it on. But yeah, it seems
Just
to
from
be
the question, do you need a mask? That's it.
I mean, he felt guilty enough that he was going to go along with it.
Do you know how they do it now? Like up on the Upper West Side, I had a friend, a lady, a girl that I know that was going to some places, and normally has been like, you need a mask. Go, whoa, you need a mask, something like that. She said now she walked into a place to try to get a cookie without a mask. It's, no, get out. Just, that's it. Just like
really?
It's gotten, which I think is a good sign, because I think it shows that they're desperately trying to cling to this. I don't think that these were people who were recently fined or anything like that. I think these are the ones who love the virus. They love the virus. I mean,
clients.
It gives them so much power, to like go around and judge people.
Gives them a sense of purpose. People are living empty lives, and I'm not saying this to disparage them. It's a symptom of the times. No, it's a symptom of the times we live in. People they followed the rules. They've borrowed a load of money to go to university, and then they've come out and they end up working in a fucking cookie shop, and their life's going nowhere. They're never going to own anything, and this whole World Economic Forum 2030 plan looks pretty good to them.
Yeah, the Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been disastrous for mankind.
Yeah.
They're not losing anything by it. Like we lose, like as a comedian, you lose everything. You can't go to your places where all your friends are, where everybody you socialize with is in a comedy club. Can't go there at all. And you lose your way of making a living. You lose your, and not just your livelihood, but you lose your lifestyle, and it's something used to take us different places, and so like all that gone. I mean, I know I'm not like saying that it's any worse. I mean, everybody has lost, people have lost businesses, people have lost family members, whatever, people who can't go see the fucking body, or be at a funeral.
Yeah.
But, and they have, look, it's definitely something that is so important to like, I've heard multiple stories of people like, well, we can't like, you don't get to see the body if you insist that, because they want to put the cause of death as like COVID-19 when it wasn't. Yeah. And they're like, well, we're going to list it that way, and otherwise we're not going to release the body to you and stuff like that. It's just they have these coercive ways of doing it because they've incentivized, the doctors to do it.
Yeah.
They get a lot of money for that if they have a COVID death. Brilliant. It's a brilliant plan.
It's an argument for and against, this whole COVID thing, I should say, has been an argument for and against free market healthcare. Not that I would say not that we have a free market now, but it gives a lot of ammunition to people who are fucking leftards who want to fucking nationalize healthcare by being like, see, when there's that profit motive in there, this is what happens, where they can start.
Yeah, the same thing happens in the National Health Service because
I know
hospital managers are incentivized that way.
But they're not going to. But they're not going to admit that that's any factor, because they know dying with COVID is the same as dying from COVID. They're not going to relent on that anyway. So I mean, it doesn't really give them that argument, because to make that argument, they have to destroy another argument, which is that the death count is real.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't contradicting themselves doesn't bother them about anything
that
else,
directly. It might in this case. I don't know. It's so close, it's just so it might not stop a lot of them. You're right. I mean, they don't have to be consistent, because it's a belief rather than like something that they know. Belief is the problem. They're a cult, and that's why they're a cult. Is because it's all based on just the belief, and the belief is, and the single belief is that they are not racist, and no one can call them racist, and people will do anything to avoid that. And the liberal people will do anything to avoid that, because they're afraid of black people, because they are the most institutionally racist, people and supporters of that. Then they love the things that have torn the black community down, and they support those things wholeheartly.
Yeah.
But that just leaves you to lose and get to keep your principles. When you keep your principles like that, it's rules for radicals. You end up losing. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And that's exactly what this whole fucking Trump era has shown, that basically they did all this very, very underhanded bad shit to fuck with him. And then, against, as you mentioned before in the show, steal the election. And then now that this fucking pudding head is in office, they're gonna let him skate on all the shit that they, manufactured fucking outrage for the last 4 years. And, we talk about it on the show all the time. It's like that fucking Jurassic Park meme where it's fucking Wayne Knight going, "Hey, look, everyone, the liberals are being inconsistent." See, nobody cares.
I've decided I'm developing a soft spot for Biden ever since he fell on those stairs.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys, Trump was very good with verbal humor, right? But you got to remember that Biden's influences growing up, Charlie Chaplin was a big star when he was coming up, and he's got slapstick down to a fine art.
Physical humor is hard to execute. They make it look easy, but it is really hard. Yeah. I had a similar thought.
He had the rule of threes in it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
The third one was the big punch. Yeah.
The third one was like, it came unexpected. You're like, no, not there it is. It was timing, everything. Yeah.
Impeccable.
And I was watching that going like, God, we have a president now who, like, every time he talks, he says silly, just stupid, silly things. He's bumbling around, falling down that white hair. I'm watching it go, am I watching The Naked Gun?
Yeah.
What a great way to fucking illustrate to all viewers on the screen that old white men are fucking bumbling idiots, by the way.
Yeah.
There's something about that, like psychologically, where like everyone around the world is looking at, and not just around the world here, and are all looking at this guy, and he's like supposedly the representative for the entire country, and he's fucking taking tumbles, he's taking nana tumbles.
Yeah, but I mean, he must be pretty well put together, because like a lot of people his age would break a bone doing that.
Well, yeah, he hasn't broken a bone since he broke his foot chasing his dog when he got out of the shower.
The dog that is now put down for biting people.
Oh, terrible. They come up with the worst explanations. These explanations are so like, I got out of the shower and there's my dog, and so I chased him. You know how you do when you're 80.
And your feet are wet from the shower.
I mean, the 80-year-old leader of the free world, chasing naked chasing a dog.
Wouldn't it be great if that was true, and he really was that guy, that whimsical, kind of carefree, happy-go-lucky, dog-chasing, naked.
I like chasing my dog.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. We all chase a dog naked. Come on, man.
I wanted to sniff his fur.
I wanted to sniff his ass. I wanted to see what his ass smelled like. The hair around his ass, it smelled like shampoo. He was wearing a sweater. I wanted to touch it. He's so creepy with that. I seen him one time. He had his arm around a girl, and you could see tweaking her nipple. I swear to God, his thumb moves a time or two, tweaking this little preteen, she was 11 or some shit like that. It was just disgusting. And we've all seen him like behind that woman, behind the guy's wife, sniffing her and whispering in her ear.
Dude, and he fucking keeps looking back too. The dude.
Yeah.
That's the most troubling part of it.
he puts his hand on her at some point, like to protect her, sort of, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't, and they hear something from over to the side, like Biden like makes this quick adjustment, looks over, you know, because like apparently it's like, yeah, it's agreed in polite society that that's
Somebody
not
blew a
really
dog
something
whistle.
you do. Yeah. Oh my God.
Maybe somebody
Yeah.
said, "Take your goddamn hands off my wife."
Get your stinking paws off me. Yeah, he's just the worst. I mean, like I see your soft spot though, yeah, because you know and I think that the left doesn't mind that he is this you know, old white man who's bumbling, fumbling, and in charge, because they think, one, that accurately represents white men in general,
Yeah.
and
Or
two,
they want it
they
to
don't,
be associated in your head like that.
and they don't think he's really in charge, and they're fine with that. You know, they're kind of fine with like, he's not really the one calling the shots. It's Kamala. You know, they really
Yeah.
think it's Kamala.
Which
It's
it's not.
Biden. It's Biden is who it is. And so
Yeah.
it's Obama has got these, you know, levers and shit, you know, and he's working them and like
Yeah.
saying
Well, it's
stuff into
Hillary,
his
isn't it?
earpiece.
Probably.
I think it's Obama. I think
Yeah.
Obama ranks higher than Hillary. I think that he's the one who said it. He would love to have a third term where he could just be whispering in the ear and being in the basement calling the shots and stuff like that, be the man behind the man. I mean, he said that like less than a year ago. I think he said it in November or something like that. You know.
Well, I've been listening to Scott Horton, and there are war-ending noises being made, according to Scott Horton, that there's still hope
In
for
Afghanistan,
leaving
you mean?
Afghanistan. Yeah, and that other one in the Persian Gulf, Yemen.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, not for nothing. I mean, Barack Obama, like, I don't really consider him an independent agent in all this anyway. Is fucking CIA, in my opinion.
Well,
his
this
job
is it.
when he got right out of college was working for Business International Corporation, I guess, which
Made
like,
up name.
Yeah, I know. It's a fucking CIA
Business
front company.
International.
I swear to God, dude, if you go on right now,
That's like something out of something David Brent would make up in the.
Yeah, I know. They
office,
would. An editor would put a red pen through that. You know, no. I want to call it Company Inc.
Yeah.
No. If you go on to Wikipedia for it, it literally says a CIA front company, and it says it on the Wikipedia page for Barack Obama what his job was immediately after college, and it's like, all right, I see what he is. Fine, makes sense. And then if you say that to a fucking libtard, though, they're gonna be like, "Oh, come on, you really need to stop watching that Alex Jones shit." It's like, it's Wikipedia.
Yeah,
you can't get through to him. You can't get through to him, man. You got to. You can't even. You could make the simplest of math equations or whatever and lay it out.
The simplest of math equations. There were only 52 ovens. You'd have to be throwing a Jew in every 4 fucking minutes for 5 years to get to that number. And it's just not fucking physically possible. Sorry, what were you saying?
I haven't really researched that.
They did just bulldoze a lot of them into mass graves.
Yeah, well, whatever. Let's not actually adjudicate that right now.
Adjudicate it.
Anyway, so I guess
personally think it was way more than 6 million.
I personally think that Lee Harvey Oswald personally killed each and every one of them.
Well, he might have.
Yeah,
all four.
It's just as believable, really. You know, I mean, you can tell in the video that they show on the thing that I mentioned before about everything's a rich man's trick, where they've adjusted the video, but like they can't. There's certain things they can't do. You know, certain shadows are sharp while the images are blurry, and like the way that the motorcycle officers suddenly close on the car, you know, and stuff like that. It's like, well, the car it's clearly it was stopped. But they can't change the relativity of the whole thing, or they didn't have the technology to do that at the time. And also, like, they told his Secret Service guys to stand down. They normally walk next to the car, and the guy's like, "What? Why are you, you know?" And he's clearly, like, not happy about it. They're all back, you know, riding on the next car. And, you know, he went through 4 stages of gunfire. You know, there was, the first stage, the guy missed, and then the guy got him in the throat. And then, like, they just, like, unleash a fusillade on the car, just, like, fucking, you know, they fire a bunch of times. And the guy at the very end he was a guy named Jack Allen, who ends up, he was a younger guy. None of the older guys would have gone down in the storm drain and gone out 400 yards like he did. And shot the president in the head, the high-powered rifle. and then went to the car dealership where he worked, muddy, stinking of shit, and puked in the bathroom. And there's a police report on all that. They actually had to they killed a state trooper in order to be the president's body, according to this thing, and they fucked it all up because they didn't understand, like, hit in the head. The reports is so, like, they trying to make this body, which they killed based on the reports they'd heard. They tried to use the same gunshot wounds, to kill him as the president to make it match.
Yeah.
So they shot him in the back of the head, as reported.
Yeah.
But they needed to, or they shot him in the front of the head or whatever. It just was like, it was all confused and bungled. And so the guy who had to sort of recreate the head, he ends up using wax to reconstruct parts of the head. And he just takes the whole brain and fucking just throws it out in a panic. And like the head looked like some kind of Frankenstein head. It didn't, and
yeah. The photos are very funny. It looks like Madame Tussauds fucking wax museum.
He just threw the brain in the trash, and then the cadaver instantly sat up and put on a mask.
Yes, master.
It lives.
Crazy though.
15 days to stop the spread.
Yeah. Zombie JFK would be a great fucking. I love
brains.
Brains. Brains. I am a hamburger.
I think JFK is the best impersonation because all you have to do is, instead of saying "Hi, I'm JFK" at the start of the impersonation, as you would normally do with an impersonation.
Yes, that's obviously the most professional way to let the audience know who you're doing the impression.
That's what Rich Little used to always do that. That's so funny.
It's great. I find it hilarious. I like those impressions.
This is Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, this is Archie Bunker. Yeah, he did it on all of them. It was so great.
Yeah, with JFK, you can just do the IRA.
Yeah, IRA.
That stands in for the.
This is JFK.
Yeah, I'm JFK.
Yeah.
He probably never referred to himself as JFK.
Yeah.
This is not that those other people say that all the time, but JFK being the initials and everything. It's a fun impression for sure. Yeah, I agree. I love JFK shit, but and the other part about doing a JFK impression, you don't have to do the
where your head comes apart.
Yeah, but you don't have to do the Jack Nicholson impression, the old one that people used to do. It's not really accurate anymore, because now it's got a deeper. So and same with Al Pacino, So you gotta. Don't have to update JFK. He stayed right where he's at.
So maybe Rich Little killed JFK, so he wouldn't have to. So it'd save him work on his act.
Yeah. There was a comic whose whole act was doing Kennedy and the Kennedy family, and he had an album that was huge. And I forget the guy's name, but I mean, he lost his whole career, his whole livelihood right there.
Wow.
He's the real victim here.
And 2 years later, he was still riding high with the Bobby Kennedy, but Jews wouldn't let him have that one either.
Yeah, it was kind of David Brenner. He's the one behind it.
Yeah. Just on the subject of Jim Garrison, right? Because he was kind of I don't know. Have you seen this latest Adam Curtis documentary, Pat? Where it's called "I Can't Get You Out of My Head."
No,
it's very good. It's about 7 hours in 4 parts or 6 parts, isn't it? About 7 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of B-roll.
No, it's all killer, no filler. But it's actually
really? That's not what I mean. I mean, it doesn't. It seems like Adam Curtis uses a lot of B-roll though.
He does.
And narration over it,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is in the. It's actually, if you think about it, it's in the style of those Beige Frequency and Porcelain YouTube documentaries, where they just show kind of relevant B-roll while they're reading out. They're really reading a dissertation out over it.
Yeah, spit and takes.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Jim Garrison's kind of a central figure in that because he's talking about the sort of mass psychology of what period would it be? The whole 20th century, was it?
Yeah, it was basically
Jim Garrison, you mean the guy who
the Kevin Costner's character in JFK.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So he comes up in a. So obviously he comes up in this, but I watched when we were researching 9/11. It came up. During my researches, I watched Jim Garrison giving a talk about it, and it was
9/11.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was talking about it, basically how it was in front of a. So this was kind of at the time when it was all, oh, it's all Bush's fault, which it was, but it's, like it's anti-Republican. And so you had all these blue hair boomers left over from the 60s who were there clapping and applauding and gushing at Jim Garrison giving a speech about conspiracy theories. But and those same people, or at least the same type of people, are now scowling at conspiracy theories because they're now a right-wing thing. It's gone. Yeah. It's just it made me angry to see the exact same character type applauding somebody speaking the truth. Who would now
one man's truth is another man's conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm on Jim Garrison's side all the way, and I don't care if he's having a go at the right. I think I don't really think left and right's all that relevant. But these idiots.
Well, he was a Bircher, I think.
On that level, it really isn't. That if you're talking about like the 9/11 type of thing, it's not. It doesn't really matter.
No, it's the puppet masters have got their hand up the arse of both puppets.
Yeah, like the Bill Hicks joke.
Right. Yeah, and Bill Hicks was full of shit on a few things, but he was also he was right about some other stuff too.
Wasn't very funny.
Bill Hicks,
was
he was at the time, but comedy doesn't hold up. It just doesn't hold up. He was really versed in all the traditional stand-up comedy techniques. He did sound effects, and physical shit. And, it sounds
talked about drugs.
Yeah, rock and roll, kind of hacky at times.
Yeah.
It's hacky, and that kind of stuff, and just doing the effects, and it was very traditionally done. He was not like he was Andy Kaufman or something, but he did. He did touch on stuff that was unusual for a comic. Speaking of that, would you possibly let me share the screen for 57 seconds? We can see Von Meter, see if I can do it.
Here, let me go.
I'll wait. Okay, great.
You should be able to.
Okay, I'll get right on it.
I tell you, one comedy bit that does hold up is the "No Slaves for Bears" bit.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites.
It holds up as well as it ever did. I'll say that. All right, let me.
Well, everything has its audience, Pat. Some people like that kind of thing. Well, obviously,
seeing it?
Otherwise,
am I? It's just, you can see the screen.
I can see it.
Yep, we can see it.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be so bad if this were just another guy. This is not just another guy. This fellow is also an entertainer. He's doing my act. He's doing my gestures, and he's using my lines.
It's not even that good, is it?
No, it's like the same thing as the fucking Simpsons impression.
Yeah.
It's
It's like he's
sorry to make you sit through so much of that.
No, it's right. It's like it's kind of holding back almost from doing it. But I guess in those days, media wasn't so pervasive. If you know what I mean. So like people wouldn't have been.
Hyper reality was only 3 channels.
Yeah. So I guess
he was beloved too. He was a beloved figure, I guess, among a lot of people, and you
he seemed very. He seemed instantly likable.
Kind of meta in a way. He's talking about himself stealing JFK's act.
His bit,
Yeah, I do like that. I like that. I think it's a good act. I just don't think he really nailed the impersonation, which
Well, I don't know because like I
Although
haven't
maybe
watched
I'm
a
thinking
ton of
of
JFK. You're thinking of the big moments probably.
yeah,
Ask not why your country, and all that kind
yeah,
of the when he's really
and
orating.
also I'm thinking of other people's impersonations of it,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
which is really
That's the
what you
best way
think.
to learn an
Yeah,
impression, Yeah.
you
Yeah.
think basically Dana Carvey's version of everybody is what.
Yeah, Dana Carvey's version of George H.W. Bush is not really what George H.W. Bush sounds
And
like.
it really got further off the reservation
Yeah,
as
yeah.
time went on. Not gonna that.
God damn it. Yeah, yeah.
When
Shit.
they read it. Yeah. But
It's magical though because it actually it becomes bigger than the real thing.
yeah, and that's what happens with I mean, like, do you watch Mark Dice at all? And he does that impression of I guess his name's Brian Stetler on CNN.
Brian Stelter. Yeah, that
Stelter, yeah.
like lesbian guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but he does the impression. It's like he doesn't really nail it. He's more like he just goes like this. This is his impression. It's fucking hilarious. For me, because I hate that guy so much. But I enjoy Mark Dice.
He looks like a fat tomato.
Yeah. A potato he's been called too as well. It's kind of compared to a root
Yeah.
and a tomato.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Von Meter, it's what do you do after that? You know what I mean? It's like that. He was probably thinking 8 years of this shit.
Start working on your Nixon.
Start working on your Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah. Start jelking so your dick gets much bigger, and start doing Lyndon Johnson's bits.
We had
you hear about all that stuff? He would like have his interns come in and like have his dick out and shit. That was one of his go-to
great.
gags in the White House.
I'm just kidding. Now suck it.
Yeah, and he would have people come meet him, like foreign heads of state come meet him while he was taking a shit in the bathroom, like bring him right outside.
Foreign heads of state.
Yeah,
I knew he
like
did it with. I knew he did that. Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. He'd be sitting there. Now listen, here's the deal. And he's taking a shit. That is the most disgusting
we killed
thing
Jack.
you could do.
This is what I said.
Well, you know what he said about the Civil Rights Act.
Oh yeah, we'll be having them voting for another 200 years. Yeah.
That's direct quote.
Yeah.
I think I was in his State of the Union.
Yeah.
Shit. Anyway, so I guess we had a little potpourri but it's basically I'm
sorry I wasn't bringing anything that you guys were buying, but as far as JFK goes, but like I guess potpourri is fine with
it goes where it goes.
It goes where it goes.
Yeah.
We did talk about JFK. So
I think it was all related to JFK, and that because as we've gone along, like for instance, we've kind of certain events have been divided into groups, but there's like subgroups. So we've identified sort of Ruby Ridge, Waco, Oklahoma City, 9/11 as one kind of arc, but the sort of they're all in the larger arc, which kind of where JFK's assassination is a big thing. I mean, and that MLK, we did an episode on MLK a while back, and that's just as bad. It's horrific, isn't it? Really, what went on there? And it's
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, such an obvious.
Yeah, how the government killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny about Martin Luther King. He's still a figure that is taken. Of course, they don't know. Nobody today listens to what he says about the content of your character, the color of your skin doesn't matter. But they still hold him up as an icon. I was on a show with Larry Baya. He does this show, Let's Get Loud.
Yeah,
and we've had him on several times.
Strong contingent of black people, there sort of participating, and they were saying that, like, we don't like the way that MLK's image is used, in sales and stuff like that. It seems like they kind of, the Martin Luther King Day sales, it's not right and it's not dignified. And I said, white and black people are really not that different, because my white friends and I have that same conversation every James Earl Ray Day.
Yeah.
Speaking of patsies and Lee Harvey Oswald, by the way.
Yeah, I mean that's a massive similarity.
They kind of look alike. Oh, they're both slight, like mousy looking dudes too.
Yeah.
And maybe have there been others that we haven't thought of that maybe fit the same kind of what about Hinckley?
Oh yeah, well no. Here's a little tidbit about Hinckley. Hinckley's parents were supposed to have dinner with the Bush family that night.
No shit.
I swear to God.
I guess they had to cancel.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, in other words,
that's a long way to go to get out of dinner with the Bushes.
Listen, Barbara, you heard about my son.
Yeah, that's true. So there's a definite connection there, I guess.
Oh yeah,
is what you're saying.
yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. And probably MK Ultra, in my opinion, based off of the whole fucking weird fixation on Jodie Foster and shit. But that's just my.
I've never heard that come out of his mouth, right? You know, I mean, like.
Yeah, that could be all fucking misinfo. You never know.
Every celebrity woman that I've ever thought was hot turned out to be a lesbian.
All of them?
Oh, here's the real conspiracy.
Yeah. and one of them's
Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
No, one of my but almost as good. But
Ellen.
Yeah, I had a massive crush on Ellen DeGeneres.
Okay.
In the Ellen show.
Wow, that was your joke example. That is true.
Yeah, and also Elliot too.
What are you? Are you into Dennis the Menace as well?
No, but there was an English children's TV entertainer called Sandy Toksvig. I had a crush on her. She turned out
Coxbig is her name. Coxbig.
Toksvig. She's Norwegian or something.
Oh, I thought you said Coxbig.
Yeah. Well, mine is when I'm thinking about her.
Yeah. So yeah. What about
Elliot Page?
I thought Ellen Page was kind of cute until it turned out she was actually a man. I didn't even know.
Who knew?
Well, it worked out great for me because when I used to be straight, I had a crush on her, and now that I'm gay, as soon as maybe he's got a crush on me as well because as soon as I come out gay, like a year later, she turns into a guy. So now I can perv on him again.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
How did I miss your coming out?
Well,
we're not sure how much of how meta he's taking this show. Full disclosure.
He's willing to suck a dick for the bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
He hasn't been fully forthcoming with this information. So.
Sort of a reverse Milo he's doing, I guess.
Yeah. No, Milo ripped him off, kind of, in a way.
Yeah,
well,
I guess he did. Yeah.
My gayness is the same justification.
Rip me off, Robin.
I'm not looking for a relationship because I'm single parent to a little girl. I don't want any other fucking weirdos thinking that they're her parent. So I might as well be gay because I'm not interested in women at all. So I might as well say I'm gay.
I don't think that doesn't equate to gayness.
But
not interested in women is just
he's really
like,
into like small hairless Asian boys too.
Yeah.
That's the other part. Not interested in women, but this other thing. Yeah. Well, yeah, hairless. I don't want anybody hairy. Women, men, nobody. I don't need a bunch.
Not me, dude. I'm totally not on the same page.
I do not mind a hairy certain parts, but the hairy arms on a woman cannot. Not down with hairy arms. You love those ape arms?
Yeah.
Can't do it. I look at that and I go, that is fucking. You're shitting me. You're shitting me. Hairy arms on a woman.
He likes Indian chicks.
I like Harry Pitts as well.
Harry Pitts, at least. You know,
says,
there's something subversive about it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm a fucking raver. I'm a nature child.
Hairy arms doesn't say anything about a woman except, you know.
The hair feels lovely. It's so lovely and soft.
She rubs her arms on you.
I don't even mind a wispy mustache on a Spaniard or an Indian girl.
Oh, you are gay.
Anyway.
Wispy mustache.
Pat,
You're not talking about a Tom Selleck or something.
Basically, I like a woman who looks like a teenage boy.
I have a New York City Crime Report, the podcast. I always like to plug it, you know, and see if I can get anybody to listen to it. But
it's a great
show. The New York Post with jokes, basically with punchlines. And it's everywhere you listen to podcasts. New York City Crime Report now in its 11th year. I mean,
Nice.
ongoing for quite a while. And
Congrats.
also Too Woke to Fuck. I like to
Dude,
mention
my
because it
favorite.
doesn't.
Must listen every I fucking refresh the feed every day, just wondering when I'm gonna get another fucking sweet release.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. It's a labor of love. I think it's like a lot goes into that show, and I love doing it. And it's I think a lot of people have trouble finding it maybe because it's like the numbers two
Yeah.
and
Two,
then woke
yeah,
and then
yeah.
two and then F. But it's Too Woke, two F with twos. And thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it's a great one, that.
Yeah, no, I loved your discussion of how the Irish really stuck it to the English in the last episode with chemical bio warfare. Yeah, just so go check that out and see what I mean.
Yeah.
It goes off the rails pretty quick usually. Starts off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that other guy on it is
He's a legend.
He has what I lack entirely, which is an imagination. But I love the way he gets you to laugh. That like he can make you laugh like nobody else can.
Yeah,
he cracks me up.
There's occasions where you just totally lose it.
Yeah, because seeing him too, and but the stuff he says, man, is so unexpected. Because he is you're right. That imagination is just for him it becomes a very personal thing. Because I think that he kind of explores the personal side of that kind of a person. It doesn't really occur to me to take it to that level.
Yeah. Very scatological. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the stuff that you would have to deal with being that kind of person, I guess. But again, like you said, my mind doesn't instantly go there. But yeah, that is them.
Yeah.
Just listen to the fucking podcast. You have to listen to it to understand what I mean. I don't want to
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. You can only reference it. Yeah. To describe it, it almost doesn't make sense. But thanks so much, man. It's probably my favorite thing to do.
It's absolutely my fucking favorite one of your products, I gotta say. But anyway, so and then what? Pat Dixon NYC on Twitter, or
yeah, and then there's the website. I could say crimereport.nyc.
Right.
And whatever. Yeah, it's findable on Twitter. I'm one of those blue check marks and everything that I got a few years ago. So
yeah,
pretty proud of my Twitter activity.
You wouldn't get that now.
Nah. I wouldn't be cast on Best Week Ever's reboot now, I don't think.
No.
It was surprising then, but they did it. They had to live with it for one season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listeners should check out Pat's what was that Ari Shafir show called? The story.
Oh, This Is Not Happening.
Yeah, Pat's This Is Not Happening. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, I enjoyed doing that. It was it's a true story about my attempted murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody tried to kill me. It's redhead. It's you know what? I'll just say this about This Is Not Happening. Great show to do because they don't. A lot of shows they're really quibbling about every line you use, every word you say. They're just like tell the story and do it. Try to bring it in somewhere between 8 minutes and 15 minutes. It's like you have this gigantic window, but if it goes over 15, don't worry. We can edit. We'll make it. It's just like no other show does it that way that I know of. They were really. It's really performer friendly, and it was a blast to do.
Well, it was Ari Shafir's show to start, wasn't it? Was Ari still there when you got booked on it?
No, it was Roy Wood Jr. his first season, and Roy. I go back with Roy. Actually, it's kind of funny because he's become obviously the host of that show and everything, and he's had some other things. First time I saw him was in Tallahassee, and I think he was doing guest sets down there when I was headlining. It's funny to see people in these different contexts, and watch them shoot past you.
No, well, it's
career-wise.
a good show.
What's the name of the? I'm going to ask you a question. It's going to ruin what I'm going to say. But what is the name of the black comic and people kind of called him the Black Hedberg for a while? Not exactly a household word, but you guys might know him.
Dave
He's the
Chappelle.
one who called out Bill. He called out Bill
Oh,
Cosby.
Hannibal Buress.
Hannibal Buress. Right. Gotcha. Okay. I'm glad. Because I'm glad he said that.
The
'Cause I
safe
remember.
black guy.
Yeah. I remember the last time I worked with him. Last time I worked in Milwaukee, he was my middle act.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man. So check all Pat's stuff out. He's fucking honestly one of the best in the fucking goddamn biz. And also a great friend of the show, and just always been a nice guy to me. So,
And thanks, Scott. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Compound Media 100 times in a row. It's the thing that's given me a whole a home to do the stuff I do. I got a fun show, Safe Space with Talib Starks, and Crime Report is on there, and love doing it. Special episode on Thursday. I hope you guys tune in. 7:30.
I said this to Gino when we had him on recently. Like the quality of shows.
Was it the N-word?
In particular, you, Pat, and Malice and Gino coming into the studio every day and doing things normal was a lifesaver at the start of all this shit. And I will always be grateful for that. So thanks for it. And great fun.
My pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You guys and the Jews in the booth are heroes for doing that.
I think that Compound saved my life. Think what it did for fucking Gino.
You saved a few other people's lives, possibly, but Compound saved a few other people's lives because he was going to bring a few more down in a drunk driving accident.
Yeah, right.
He crashed his apartment into a queue waiting for a bus.
Yeah. But anyway, for us, www.historyhomos.com for the audio version of the show, or find it wherever you find podcasts. If you're listening on the audio version now, check out the video version on YouTube, Odyssey, BitChute. You can find them all easily in the link tree and all of our social medias. History Homos Pod all across social media, Twitter and Instagram, all that good shit. You can follow me on Instagram at Scott Lizard Abrams, and please join our Telegram group. Pat, you got to get in there, and you got to get your people into a Telegram group. This is the new fucking thing. It's a chat group in which we call William gay and discuss the memes and conspiracies of the day. And you can get to that at t as in tranny.me/historyhomos. That's the channel, and you'll see all of our uploads there. And t.me/historyhomos chat is the group chat, and we had a good group of dudes in there. So please check that out. It is cool.
Send me a link to that if you don't mind, the Telegram thing.
Love to, yeah.
And find because I'm on Telegram, and I'd love to be involved.
Cool.
Okay, we will. But anyway, so William, what do you want to say to the peeps?
No slaves for bears.
Later, homos. And stop recording.
She's shining. She's the only one to see. She's shining. She's the only one for him. She's shining. She's the only song to sing. She's shining. She's the only one for him. Shalala. Rising in the morning, I see the king sitting on the throne. He's sitting there, sitting all alone.